Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Rounding the Bases podcast. I'm Coach Tom Coons, along with Coach Chad Porter and Coach Zach Cart. And tonight we want to get into a little bit. Zach, explain to it.
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to work on a mental performance course with Brian Kane and just completed my certification. Really excited about that. And it helps unlock a lot of mental struggles, not just with baseball, but across all athletics and with a lot of up and coming younger individuals that, don't necessarily know how to train their mind the way that we frequently train our bodies. So really excited to complete this milestone and looking forward to helping young athletes and especially young baseball players that are looking for that additional that extra edge when it comes to mental performance and baseball performance on the field.
I think that's important because, we're locked into. I know when we were growing up, and I'm a little bit older than you guys, but when we were growing up, you wanted to be good. But knowing the percentage that goes from high school, whether softball or baseball, to college being 7%, 9%, you've got to stop. You've got to get out of that mental thought process of being good, because now you have to be elite. You have to change your approach. And I think what you're saying here, falls into that category. There's a lot of good players that don't play in college. But what separates you? What's your thought process going forward? I thought that was, what are players today, softball, baseball, doing to make themselves elite? Are you lifting weights, and then when it starts to hurt, well, I hit a new high today, that's enough for me? Or are you pushing past? Are you hitting 100 baseballs versus the 50 that you did 2 days before? What are you doing to get to that point? And you guys jump in there. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a really big deal now, Tom. With one of the frequent things. We're great. There's a lot of great aspects of training your body, but growing up, there wasn't. We didn't have the luxury for any type of mental training or mind training or understanding that aspect and how to flip the switch or, recognize when you're in a bad spot mentally. Coach Porter used to tell us frequently that one of the things that made, my team great when I played for Coach Porter was our ability to flip the switch and our ability to go from, enjoying ourselves, having a good time, to completely locked in. It's game time. And we had that focus and that mentality at that time. So understanding how to manage that, how to process that, that's definitely something going forward that's going to be a really big deal for the youth and also, rising freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors. So it's a new and upcoming. I don't want to say new, but it's getting a little bit more emphasis.
Right, Chad.
Yeah, baseball, like many things in life, is really boils down to confidence, right? Confident teams, confident players, confident. We've all seen guys who are confident, who are not as talented as other guys on the field, and that having that mentality. I had a friend I went to high school with, named David Byard, went to Mount Vernon Nazarene. And I remember when we were kids, we were teenagers. Was he always the best player on the field? Pretty close. But I'll tell you something right now. I've never seen anybody as confident as that guy. I remember when we were in like he was a year older than me, so we were in high school, and a teacher walks in. This is how confident this kid was. Teacher walks into the gym, and I remember David had a Florida Marlins hat on because they were the Florida Marlins then. And he looks and he goes, "Someday I'm going to play for these guys." And the teacher's like, "Oh, whatever." Next thing you know, the kid gets drafted. He's in AAA. Probably the most confident player I've ever played with, to be honest with you, or ever played with, and maybe ever be around. Now, there's a couple guys that I've coached, and their levels of confidence are completely different than other guys. And there's confidence and there's false confidence, right? And there's a belief and there's really a false belief. And there's feeling like you're prepared, and then there's, not being prepared. I really believe that. I really believe in the whole idea of false confidence. I really believe that, right? And there's a lot of different things in the mental game I believe in, but seeing guys who can bottle up that confidence. Because if you think about it, I was as a player, especially in college, I was an extreme streaky player. It's like extreme, like 15 for 20 or 1 for 20. Why? Because my confidence fluctuated through times, and I didn't have those things to pull it back.
Right.
I remember. I tell our players this. I remember hitting a home run in summer ball my junior year, and I remember it was a kind of a flare to right field. I went oppo. I was a right-handed hitter. Went oppo, and it didn't feel good off the bat, and I released like my bottom hand off the bat, and I remember running around first going, "That was weird." Instead of going, "Wow, I did my job," I remember running around the bases going, "That was weird." And guess what happened? The next at bat was weird, and the next at bat, and the next at bat, and the next at bat, because I lost that feel, right? I didn't have anything to go to, as like Billy said when Billy Pinkerton was here a few weeks ago. Billy
Right.
said, when he said that when Ken Ravizza, I always say his name wrong.
Rizza.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Would always say you've got to have something to go to when it hits the fan, because it's going to hit the fan. I never had that. Instead, I had a bucket of baseballs and a tee. And I really didn't know if I was doing right or if I was doing wrong, right? And so, but confident players, if we can build and confident players, competent in what they're doing, competent in how their mental skills, they can use them, right? Turns into a really confident kid. And confidence, as well as I do, we can listen. Said this last week. You still got to be a good ball player. Still got to be good. You still have to produce.
Right.
Confidence is a separator in life, in baseball. Like, walk and see a confident guy that doesn't get rattled. They're few and far between. But I've seen it. I really have. I've seen it. And David Byers is one of them. And might be the only player I can think of in my mind that I remember as a player. As a coach, I had some guys that were close, but, a few of them always had a soft spot. This one, he just didn't. I don't know how to explain it. And when cracks hit the fan, he's just like, hey, whatever. And you're just like, dude.
And you love those players too, but it's the elite player that can decipher between confidence and cockiness.
Yeah.
Because there's a huge difference there. Cockiness, now you get into body language and you get into it's a whole other thing. If you're confident, example, I've been following I'll say his name because he's with the Giants right now. Lorenzo Meola. This guy drafted in the 4th round this year out of Stetson University. Tremendous hitter. The kid could go 7 for 8 in a game, and the one at bat would be the one that would eat him. You know, what do I got to do to improve that? He gets drafted by the Giants in the 4th round. His first at bat, he hits a home run. Next at bat, he hits a double. Then he grounds out. Then he hits a single. He comes up in the next inning, and the announcers are all saying he tripled for the cycle. Well, he didn't hit a triple because he hit a second home run. Then what do you think about? That one I grounded out on.
Yeah.
It's not cocky. He's confident in his skill, and he's a master at how he's working at it now. And I think that's a huge difference, you know, between the two. He's got tremendous body language. He doesn't let things get to him. He's an elite player. And you may see him, you know, if not this year, maybe next year sometime on television. Not in the minor leagues. But
Coach, I got one for you. All right,
ahead.
we're talking about confidence. So one that, you know, I have used with a couple young athletes so far that struggle with that particular category. Confidence is a decision. And there's only one person that makes that decision. What do you think about that?
So yes, I like that. It's a decision, but I think that in the decision, I think it's great. But to make that decision, I think that you have to feel what it feels like to do that, and you have to prepare to be confident.
Yep.
Very few
There's a
people-
process with it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But
There's
at the end of the day, right, that's your decision.
that's right.
yeah,
And people will see that in you. They won't have any aspect or any bearing on your confidence. It can certainly help make you feel lousier when you do, you know, baseball's a funny sport, you know, or softball. They'll let you hear it when you do bad because they expect you to get a hit every time, or they expect you to do this every time. So confidence with them is a non-entity as far as they'll bring you down faster than they will build you up.
right.
That comes from within you.
Yeah. Agreed.
You know,
I like it.
That's like, you know, you go on X, Twitter, and you see kids posting 4-minute videos of themselves. I remember back in the day as a college coach, I didn't have the time to watch 4 or 5 minutes of video because I needed more players, or I was looking at more players. You know, I think if you can film a 4 or 5 minute video and pull out that 30 seconds where you're an elite, confident athlete, that's what you post.
Agreed. Yeah.
You know, you see so many that are just, and you know, I've known college coaches answer a phone call while they're watching the video and then ask the assistants, did you see that? You know, it's like 30 seconds, impact, elite, confident. You know, because the longer you go, guess what? If you're hitting the ball and you want to keep going and keep filming, there's only one way it can go.
Yep.
I'm looking for one thing. I'm looking for very particular things in those videos. And if I didn't see it early on, I'd go to the next one. If I had to watch the whole thing, it wasn't like if I didn't see arm speed, really good actions, and bat speed, I mean, that was it. I want to see how that barrel moves. I want to see how that arms, because you can't, unless there's a radar gun, you can't tell in terms of like a fielder what's the arm speed look like, and then how do they move? How do they move?
And you could tell all that in 30 seconds.
Easily.
Yep.
30 seconds easily.
Yeah.
How do they move? How do they? That's important. I was telling Coach Cart the other day, in my trials and tribulations in my new life as a middle school physical educator, I texted him after class one day and I said, you know what's weird? I said, we're focused on playing like 75 baseball games a year at 10, 11, 12, but none of the kids can jump rope. Walked away. So I'm like, now let me get this straight. We have kids that can't jump rope and have the athleticism to jump rope. That's what I'm getting at. Teaching them to be athletes. But we focus on, playing a insane amount of baseball games at a young age. So all that goes to prove is the development theory and, developing kids into, athletes. I mean, seriously, how many games did you play last year? 80. How old are you? Well, I just turned 11 or just turned 12, but you can't jump rope? Well, no one's ever taught. It's like, look, so I looked at these kids and I said, listen, you want to be an elite athlete? You want to get better and better and better and better? You got to train to be an elite athlete. And I said, that thing right there, that jump rope, that's one of the cheapest things you can do.
Right.
That's one of the cheapest things you can do. But so yeah, so like, we're we've got to play, 4 games on a Saturday afternoon, but we're not training kids to have speed, skill, and grace. Remember, speed, skill, and grace is a baseball player, how they move, how they do that stuff.
And I think that all relates right back to Zach with the mental game. Are you willing to have your brain tell you, I'm not tired, I can push through this. I know I can jump that rope. I'm not going to give up. It's all part of that inner thought process that'll get you there, because if you can handle it there, you'll be able to handle other things on the other end.
Or I can go take another bucket of ground balls. Right? That's part of the deal. Listen, you can say, hey, I'm going to be confident. If your body doesn't know how to catch a ground ball over and over and over and over the right way and have the feel, which is your real, that decision, it ain't happening, right? So, like, that's got to be part of the process with the work ethic. And that's what, Zach was saying. I can sit here and be like, hey, look, I'm going to be, this, and this. But, man, if the sweat's not in the bucket, and I do believe this too. The harder you work, the more confident you get, the luckier you get. The harder you work, the luckier you get, and the more lucky you get, the more confidence you get.
Come on, Coach. What's the definition of luck?
I don't know.
Well, luck would be if I hit this $750 million lottery. That would be luck.
Fellas, luck is when preparedness and opportunity meet.
Correct.
That's luck.
And I'll tell you, I had a coach tell me this one time. Practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
Because you can practice it crappy and not get any better.
Yep.
Which goes back to the confidence, and then goes back to the thought process, which goes back to the mental game. It's all tied in. It's all tied in. You could have a bad day at your batting cages working out, go home, and you can sulk about it, or you can come back 2 days later, jump back in the cage, evaluate what you had done, and try to improve on that.
Yep. 100%.
And that makes it huge. I think far too many sports, not just baseball and softball, but far too many sports, the mental game. I mean, back in the day, it used to be skill and mental game, and it's slowly coming to here. That the mental game's here because that will bring the skill back up again.
Yep.
Because now you think you can do it. You know you can do it. You've done it.
100%.
What else, coaches?
Now's the time to watch baseball. Watch it,
Getting
learn from
serious.
it. Watch it and learn from it, people.
Exactly.
Hey, I got advice, right? I got advice. Put this on X, right? You can't measure it with a metric either. Maybe you could. I saw two guys get in an argument the other day about measuring like heart and intern, and a math guy said, "Oh, yes, you can. It's called this and this." And the other guy's like, "No, it's not." And like they're going back and forth. So anyway, listen. Do watch as much baseball because it's going to be high leverage as you can this fall. Don't throw 125 pitches in a fall baseball game. Okay? Do play, lift, and do skill work concurrently. Don't expect to, I'm just going to lift weights and get better.
That's right.
Okay? That's not how our game works. There's a reason why. I tell our players this, and I tell parents this at the beginning of the year meeting, and they don't have any idea what I'm talking about, but it's true. There's a reason why you play baseball, why big leaguers play 162 games in roughly, 180 days is it now? Is that what it is now? 180? Because you play the game every day. The skill set demands repetition, right? And the repetition to be good at our game requires you to train at the open skill and close skill level. And in the open skill meeting, there's variables. Closed skill, there's no variables. Both play a role, and both can help to develop confidence. So those are a couple of do's and don'ts of fall ball. Okay. And, do get your at-bats. Do take a lot of ground balls. Do take a lot of fly balls. Do it concurrently. Don't throw 125 pitches in a game in the fall. Don't play 7 baseball games on a Saturday afternoon in the fall. Don't get burnt out by it. This is a time to improve and to get hungry for next season, not hangry. I don't want to do this anymore. Got it?
And I'll tell you, now that it's fall, my 3 things for you thinking about fall is getting involved with a company like ours, because there's 3 vital things that you got to start thinking about now that it's fall time. 1, how far from home do you want to go? If you're looking at schools, it's not just a scholarship. What happens if you're on the East Coast and you get to get a scholarship offer on the West Coast? Have you learned how to do your laundry yet? Have you learned how to do this yet? Can you, the schools are going to wash your uniforms, are going to take care of you and on that aspect. Can you take care of yourself? Can you live out there with your family, maybe not seeing only 1 or 2 of your games? So that's number 1 on the homework list while you're at this fall time. Number 2, what's your major? Are you looking at schools that carry what you want to go into? I mean, I got a scholarship from UCLA, but they don't have my major. What do I do? What do you mean, what do you do? You have a 7% chance to play in college. You have an even less chance to play professional in baseball, and even lesser chance to play professional softball. You better find out a school where you can get what you want to get as well. That's what we help you with is on that aspect. And number 3, the one that always slips, just baffles me. Do you want to go to a city school? Or do you want to go to a school out in the current country, rural? You can go to a school in New York City. You got Manhattan there. St. John's is there. St. John's is a good baseball school. Softball. Manhattan, same thing. Or You can go to a school, rural school, West Virginia, Marshall, those schools out in the country, a lot less. What do you want there? So and again, that's another area we can help you figure out. So I would say, like Coach was saying, in the fall, don't kill yourself out there on the field, but also start thinking about the intangibles, because when you get to spring, guess what? It's your season again, and you got to be ready to go. So that's what I'll leave you with. Coach Cart?
No, I agree with all those items. I think you guys are both, you portrayed what fall is supposed to look like. And basically it's an alignment, right? Whether you're aligning schools, whether, you're in a position and you're ready to align with our organization and take that next step. I mean, Coach Porter is hitting the nail on the head with aligning the reps and aligning with exactly what you need to do in the fall. It's just a great time to reset, right? Reset, reshape your mind. Temperatures are going to be changing here soon. They've changed for us already. I know that probably both Coach Porter and I are already feeling it in our sinuses. So it's a wonderful time to reset and make sure we're either going the direction we need to be going in, or we, stop, continue, or start. I mean, we pick one of those, right? So, agreed.
And that's how we can help you. You can see our emails right there on the screen. Every one of us willing to help. HiddenAccountRecruiting.com. We are here. Again, this is what we do. We help you to be successful in your decision-making process. So we will see you next week. We'll have a different topic. Feel free to go on our website and just give us a little bit of information. Send us a video. We'll evaluate you for free. We'll get in touch with you, tell you what we think, and that's it. We'll give you time. If you want to work with us, then we'll work together. If you don't, you're not going to get 17,000 phone calls trying to twist your arm and work with us. We're not, the three of us here are not that way. So until next week, thanks for tuning in, and we hope you have a good rest of your week and a great weekend.